Going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now today, hey, we've got some big news brewing here in the cricket world, and in fact not even the cricket world, the real life world. This has gone further than cricket now. This has gone outside of cricket now, and I fear that this is only going to get bigger and bigger in the next couple days, and a lot more things that we're going to hear and more implications, if you will, that are going to come from this exact situation. But with it only happening in the last 24 hours and being a cricket YouTube channel that follows a lot of this stuff, is a big Rashid Khan fan. I'm a big fan of course, Australian cricket. And so this is a tough one for me. You know, obviously we love Rashid Khan, great bloke. And this has nothing to do with Rashid Khan. Firstly, let's get that out of the way. I want to make sure that I don't use his name to use as an example, because he is just the face of this, because he is the big name out of Afghanistan. He's the most popular guy there from that cricket team, and he is speaking out. So of course, he is the big name and kind of the face of this whole situation, which it really, other than him being from the country of Afghanistan, it really has nothing to do with him, like a lot of us. But the fact that he's now spoken out and given a statement, it means he's now fully involved and his name's going to be at the forefront of it. So hey, if you guys haven't been paying attention to any of this, or you don't really care enough to look it up, I've got you covered with all the news here. We're going to run through it and what has happened in the last 18 to 24 hours, really, with this whole Cricket Australia Afghanistan situation. But hey, before we get into it, if you guys are new, subscribe, leave a like, but most importantly for this video, comment down below your thoughts on this whole situation, whether you disagree with me or whether you agree. I do not care. You can happily disagree with me, you can happily agree. All opinions are valid, and you guys know on this channel we don't like to have a filter. We like to give our honest opinions and see it, and we'll say it how we see it. So we're going to do exactly that. I'm not going to change anything because this is a serious matter. I'm still going to stick to what I believe in and what I think. Okay, in saying that, let's get into it. Rashid Khan, the opening statement, it's a big one. So if you guys haven't seen it, which you probably have, but I'm going to read it to you. So get ready for this little bedtime story. All right, I am really disappointed to hear that Australia has pulled out of the series to play us in March. I take great pride in representing my country, and we have made great progress on the world stage. Absolutely. The decision from Cricket Australia sets us back in that journey. If playing versus Afghanistan is so uncomfortable for Australia, then I wouldn't want to make anyone uncomfortable with my presence in the Big Bash. Okay, right. Therefore, I will be strongly considering my future in that competition. Now, that's a lot to take in, firstly. I mean, when you get arguably the biggest international name of the competition saying that, oh, I'm not going to come back. He's not going to come back. I hope people realise that that's it for Rashid, unless Cricket Australia reverse the decision or something, then Rashid's not coming back. I think people firstly just have to get that out of the way, that we might have seen the last of Rashid Khan in the Big Bash, unless he, needs a bit of money in the future and then decides he'll come back. But I think he's okay for money. I think he obviously he got some big IPL contracts and all of that. So he's fine on the financial situation. So this is why this doesn't make a massive deal for Rashid, because he knows he's okay on that side. Now, this obviously has nothing to do with the coin, the money, or anything. Obviously, it has to do with the stance of the Taliban and Afghanistan. So, hey, that's that. I do have a few things that I want to read with you all, guys. I'm not going to sit here and start, slandering and throwing out random statements. We're going to get all the information. And we've also got a little, thing that I want to read here. We're not going to read all of it because we'll be here for about 40 minutes. But I will read you some of the key points out of it and just discuss a little bit of my opinions as well. So, hey, let's go through it. So these are all the Afghan cricketers that have actually spoken out. I don't know who that is. Mid Hassan? I don't know who that is either. Look, I'm going to be honest, I don't know who that is either. Hashmat Shahidi? shout out. But of course, the man Ramanullah Gabaz, he spoke about it, so that's a big name out of Afghan to speak about it. Rahmat Shah, Naveen ul Haq. Now, of course, he was with the Sydney Sixers this year in the Big Bash League, and look, I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't that good, but that doesn't change anything, right? Do I need to mention that? Maybe. It doesn't matter, it doesn't. But I'm just letting everyone know that it's not, if he decides that he doesn't want to come back to the Big Bash, I don't think it's going to matter. That's more the point I'm trying to make, is that, yeah, other than Rashid Khan, I think the Big Bash will be okay if none of the other guys come back. But Rashid's the big one. So, look, I'm not saying all of this is going to be done for Rashid and, it's like, Rashid, please stay, because if anyone knows Cricket Australia, like we've seen in the past, Cricket Australia is going to be, firstly, the last cricketing board that'll ever apologise. They'll be the last cricket board to ever reverse a decision. And if you guys have followed cricket for the last, 15, 20 years, you guys know what the Cricket Australia board has done. I mean, the Tim Payne situation, throwing him under the bus, Andrew Simon's situation, years and years ago, we reacted to a Cricket Raz video about it and how he was treated by his own board. There's been a lot of other situations that have been very, very similar. So this is why something like this does not surprise me at all. Whether you think it's the right decision or not, I'm not surprised, and no one should really be surprised that Cricket Australia has done this. And if there's anything more to come from this, it would not surprise me at all. It really would not surprise me at all, because that is how Cricket Australia goes. We don't really. I want to put this in a good way without trying to slander my own cricketing board, but there's times where I can be quite embarrassed to be a part, supporting a country that makes silly decisions. But in saying that, this decision, I feel like was the right one. Now, look, I did say that on Twitter last night. Of course, I got a few DMs from a few people in Afghanistan telling me to, all crazy stuff. And I understand. I will happily have a conversation with anyone and try and hear someone's point of view and their particular thoughts. But what I won't do is discuss the situation with people who are just brain dead and really don't understand the situation at all. That's what upsets me, when people just say things without actually knowing any of the details or even reading about it or anything at all. They just say, oh, Australia is so soft. It's like, bro, you even know actually what it's for, though? No, you don't. But in saying that, we're about to jump into this little thing here. So firstly, shout out to Ben Gardner. Shout out to him. So what we are going to do through here is jump through the important parts of this little, what would you call it? A little statement, if you will. All right. On December 20, 2022, the Taliban ordered an indefinite ban on university education for women in Afghanistan. Rashid Khan led the way among his cricketers in condemning the decision. #Let Afghan girls learn. Facts. Was how he ended his social media post protesting the move, with Nabi, Naeeb, Faruqi and Majib among the other players. Today, of course, Cricket Australia has pulled out. The move was condemned. Yep. So the de facto face of the Adelaide Strikers has threatened to pull out of the Big Bash. Now, let's speak about Rashid Khan just firstly about This is pretty big for Rashid Khan to say, I won't be coming back. That's essentially what he said. I'm not coming back unless the decision's reversed. And I'm gonna be honest, I think if I was to put a % chance on the decision getting reversed, I would say it's maybe an 8% chance to get reversed and a 92% chance that it stays the right decision, which I think is probably gonna stay the way it is. But with Rashid Khan, biggest international name in the Big Bash, there's no doubting that. Like, Faf was here, that's cool, but Rashid Khan, his last 5 years have been massive here for the Big Bash, have been massive for the Adelaide Strikers, and has been pretty big for the competition, getting a lot more supporters of a lot of Afghanistan contingent fans who would support the league for guys like Majib, Faruqi even, and Rashid. So, look, we're going to lose a little bit out of this, for sure. The Big Bash is going to lose a tiny portion of viewers, I would imagine. But then again, let's not forget, Rashid Khan has already left the Big Bash this season. He left to go collect some money in South Africa, or was it the UAE? I can't remember, but so it's not like the Big Bash mattered like it mattered so much to him. Like, it wasn't. It's not like it was the biggest deal of his career, and he thought, damn, this is gonna be the toughest thing of my life. Like, he already left about a week ago to go play in South Africa, so it's not like this was a crazy thing to him to say pulling out. But what it does is more for the Adelaide Strikers, if anything, really puts their team into a spanner, into a spin if he doesn't want to come back towards the back end of this season when the playoffs are happening. So it's a big one. And Rashid Khan, Cricket Australia has used his name for promotion. They have used his face. They have used him. I'm sure he got paid for his work, but there was this certain particular ad that would play before, not even just before the Big Bash, but every single fucking second on Fox Cricket Channel in Australia. It was, "Hi, I'm Rashid Khan. I'm from Afghanistan. When I joined the Big Bash 5 years ago, I was just a boy out of Afghanistan chasing his dreams," and stuff like that. Like, it's just this 1 minute ad that is essentially Rashid Khan telling his story and telling people to come watch the Big Bash. So that's a little bit awkward. The Cricket Australia used him for our own good and then kind of in a way let him down. But again, this isn't about him. So that's why it's kind of weird to me, because people are saying that Cricket Australia let Rashid Khan down when it's not about Rashid Khan, it's about the stance that the Taliban has. And I understand that they have fully condemned it and they have said this is, we do not want this. And it's not their decision. They don't own the fucking Taliban. They are not a part of it. They don't. Of course they would want to play cricket in their own country and have teams tour there, but it is just not the reality. And until a decision is changed, I think it has to be that way. And also, to another point that I really want to put out there is, a lot of people have asked, but Australia, you can play them in the World Cup, but when it's a series against them, you boycott. So why don't you boycott the World Cup against Afghanistan? And let's put this out there. I've got to say, it's one of the most silly things I've ever heard in my damn life. If the World Cup is for the entire country. Afghanistan, they're not making it to the semi-finals. The money... Okay, actually, let's put it this way. So if we toured the UAE to go play against Afghanistan, we would be giving them, probably half of the money, and they would probably have it telecasted, so they would probably get a good amount of money. And as we know, there are higher-ups, aka former Afghan cricketers, who work in the Taliban areas, who are a part of that stuff now, and okay, that's as far as I'm going to talk about it, because I don't know too much in depth about who they are, but all you have to do is a couple of basic Google researches, and you will find the info that you need on the ex-cricketers that are in that Taliban sort of, endorsing. But that's why, because so if we tour them, we're giving money straight to the Taliban. Look, of course, not all of it. Of course, probably not even half of it. Probably just a small sliver and a quarter might go to them. But that is enough. We don't want to give them anything. And I hope people understand that this is bigger than us not wanting to give, this is bigger than us just saying, oh, we don't care, we don't want to play Afghanistan. No, this is so much bigger than that. And I really hope people start realizing that this is bigger than cricket. In saying that, we're going to scroll down and go through a little bit more here. So there's plenty going on. It shouldn't need saying that restricting women and girls' rights to learn is abhorrent and deserves condemning in the strongest terms. Absolutely. And something, I've got so much to say on this. Look, something that also I feel needs to be said is that, like all the Afghanistan cricketers, they keep saying stop bringing politics into cricket, but women's rights has nothing to do with politics. It is a basic human right that all women in Afghanistan deserve. So it's that every woman in the world deserves the exact same equal rights as a man to walk the streets freely, to go to school, to learn, to get treated by a male doctor. It does not matter. Everyone should be able to live their own effing lives, and it is simply disgusting how they're being treated and the new laws over it. Of course, it's only a small percentage of Afghanistan that are in favor of it, but it is still there and it is still happening in 2023. I really hope people understand that this isn't a joke or anything. Like, this is big stuff that needs changing. And if this is one way that we can stand in front of it and say, like, if we can even give a 1% chance that they would reverse the decision or change their minds, or at least just allow women to go to school and have basic rights, then there would be no dramas here. We would go to the UAE, we would play this series, and it would have nothing, there would be no drama. So, yeah, for the people saying don't bring politics into cricket, women's rights are not politics. They're not meant to be decided on by politicians. The women can decide for themselves how they want to live their own life. So yeah, moving on from that, that's how I definitely feel about it. A fully functioning women's team is never... Well, actually, sorry, let's read this. Has told ESPN Crick Info that there has never been an organised women's cricket match in the country of Afghanistan. Let that sink in. A fully functioning women's team is supposed to be which was, of course, the ICC didn't allow that in 2017, which, of course, 2017, I can't really remember why. This allowed the story of the men's side. Of course, the men's side has been awesome, making it to World Cups, winning test matches, winning big T20 series. A lot of their cricketers have taken big steps into IPL, BBL, all of that. So the emergence of Afghanistan cricket in the last 10 years has been massive, and it's been awesome for cricket. But again, this has nothing to do with the cricket team themselves. This has nothing to do with Naveen ul Haq or Rashid Khan. This has to do with the country and their stance. And I understand that it's a smaller percentile than the rest of the population that lives there, but it is still there. Like, if that was here in Australia, I don't think countries would tour here. But also, this is something that should be mentioned. Australia also have a poor track record of fulfilling fixtures against cricket's supposedly lesser nations. Now, I'm not saying that. That's just what this says. With their cancellation of a visit by Bangladesh in 2018, a recent example, they then have refused to play Afghanistan before cancelling a one test match in 2021. Again, citing the Taliban. But in between, those two sides faced off in the World Cup. Conceding a T20 World Cup fixture could have had significant on-field consequences, though Australia failed to make it. Thanks for letting me know again. I still haven't gotten over it. And the announcement of the education ban has come since that game. But given Australia pulled out of a test match before the World Cup, citing the Taliban, and now have pulled out of an ODI series citing the Taliban, are we to take their lack of a World Cup forfeit as a tactic endorsement at that point of time? Or is it just the CA will take a stand only when it's expedient for them to do so? Neither answer reflects well. Yeah. Now, that's a great thing to mention, that is that we do that. I mean, again, I spoke about this, the CA board before. They do this. This happens a lot in Australia. As an Australian fan, this happens a lot. I'm not surprised. I understand that people outside of Australia are thinking, what the hell? Why would CA do this? But we do this. We do this a lot. I mean, I don't even have to get into the more examples of it. But the real question is Is this action likely to lead to any change? Comparisons are made to South Africa's exclusion years ago. But of course, then, yes, South Africa came back. They ended up changing their decisions. Neither seems... Wait, hold on. The South African Council on Sports contributed to the boycott from within the country with their slogan reading, "No normal sport in abnormal society." I like it. Neither seems true of the Taliban. It is not recognized as a legitimate government. Yeah, and somehow it still controls the country. International relations have largely ceased. They swept to power in a military offensive in which is reported then thousands of Afghans were. They are not seeking acceptance on the world stage. Sport and politics can never be separated, but a nation's cricket team is not its government, and in this case, that is especially... Absolutely, I mean... If this series was played in Australia, I don't think we'd even have a drama with it. And in fact, yeah, I mean, they probably did offer to move the series elsewhere or something like that, but I don't understand. Afghanistan obviously would, the ACB board, obviously they would prefer more money to come to them than touring another place where all the money goes to the home nation. So I can totally understand why they wouldn't want to move it. What this does do is deprive Afghanistan's cricketers of the platform from which they can speak out. The cricket team is their greatest cultural export and is not a stretch to describe Rashid as the face of the country outside the world. Following the Taliban's rise, he took the field in the 100 for the Trent Rockets with a black, red and green Afghanistan flag painted on his face in contrast to the Taliban's black background. Don't leave us in chaos. Stop Afghanistan's and destroying Afghanistan. Read to the point, social media. Those are not dissimilar to Iran's footballers refusing to sing the national anthem at the World Cup. It is hard not to feel that Rashid should be at the center of cricket response to the Taliban rather than blindsided by it. Okay, we got a little bit more here just to end it off, guys. It's this... hold on, if I can speak English this morning. It's this that strikes most jarringly about the CA's move. That it has been made unilaterally with the focus of inward of their public's perception than with any thought to how or why it will affect change. CA said they will continue to engage with the ACB in anticipation of improved conditions for women's and girls in the country. The ACB response, branding CA's move as pathetic, suggests that dialogue is, at best, a one-way street. Cricket now faces a choice on whether to exclude Afghanistan or work with its cricketers. With this first offering, CA have made themselves feel better, but it's hard to see how it will do much more. Firstly, I wanted to say, incredibly well written by the man Ben Gardner. Unbiased, he's given points on both reasons of why, both nations are upset. Again, I can understand both nations. I can totally understand the Afghanistan team because it's not their fault. It's not the team. It's not the players' fault. It is not their fault. And it sucks. It really does suck that this shit like this has to happen. It does. Of course, I'm not going to doubt that. This shit sucks. I would love to see us play Afghanistan in a 3-match series in the UAE. I would love nothing more. But again, I can understand from CA's perspective, but I can also understand from the ACB board's perspective. Of course, this would have brought in a good amount of money. They're missing out on a lot of money. They're missing out on some great cricket against a top nation. The fans are missing out. The players are missing out, which sucks. Of course, it sucks. And that's really how we're going to sit with it. Also, what I think is another thing that I will add in here is that maybe Australia, maybe we didn't have to boycott this series, and what we could have done as an Australian team was send over our, under 22 team. We could have just, not even under 22, we could have sent, just our B team or C team, and it wouldn't have mattered. We could have sent Matt Short, Berendorf, Joel Paris, fucking Aaron Hardy, Josh Philippi, Josh Inglis, if he wanted to go. Like, we could have just sent like a bunch of our B/C graders, and then the series, it still would have brought in money, but maybe not as much. But then again, you're still kind of going against your beliefs, but you're still doing it for money. So it's really tough. This is a really, really tough situation, guys. Again, it's obviously my opinions on this situation do not matter, but doesn't mean that I don't have a platform and I won't speak out and give my honest thoughts on it. So hey, that is gonna cap it off, guys. Do we have any more up here? Just something else to talk about? Not really, bruh. Oh, hold on, what's this? Wow, Cricket Australia is so concerned about women's rights in Africa, and they cancelled the series that was meant to be played in the UAE. Doesn't make any sense. Maybe come with better excuses. By the way, what steps have been taken against the alleged racism in stadiums? Hey, maybe Twitter wasn't the best place to come to for this one. What's this? While I love Rashid as a cricketer, this is a bad take. So see, you're getting both of the best worlds on Twitter. You're getting people who agree and disagree, and that's the whole point of life. Australia has denied this because of the issues of Afghanistan. If you are a captain of the men's team, you should be fighting for women's rights. I mean, he is. I think he is. But then again, the man Rashid Khan has got to keep himself safe. Like, if he came out here and said, you know, like, F them, I stand with it, I can't believe they do this, like, he would probably get found and you know, so he's got to be a bit careful himself about it. I don't even know if he goes back home to Afghanistan. I have no idea. But I hope the man Rashid Khan stays safe and he's okay. Because we love Rashid, even though this is happening, I still love Rashid, and I really hope that he gets to come back into the Big Bash at some point. But if not, it's been fun watching him. Maybe it's time to move on. I don't know. Hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Where do you guys stand? Are you in the middle of I don't really care? Are you on the left of I support ACB and this is a joke of CA? Or are you on the CA side saying this is the right decision? I don't know. I did tweet yesterday that I was probably on this side and we're more, you know, it's the correct decision. But the more I think about it, I'm kind of in the middle of I can't really decide. I don't really like it for either of us. I don't like that we're going to miss cricket, but I also don't like how women are being treated. But we also, there's a lot to talk about. So hey, drop your comments, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see everyone in the next one.